This episode will be absolutely special. We are here in the Fasano area. We are going to explore the entire area between the sea and the hill for the GUSTI project. What does it remind you of?
It reminds me of many things, certainly many things, very tasty. But we won't do it alone. We'll do it with a group of international tour operators who, as you can see, are already here, ready in their cars. So let's get in the car too.
Let's go explore the Fasano area in an absolutely sustainable way with our little electric cars. MAD can begin.
It is a program offered by
This special episode of Mezzogiorno e Dintorni will take us to discover a small and enchanting piece of Puglia. From the sea to the districts on the hill, we will cross the plain of ancient olive trees and immerse ourselves in the history of ancient Ignazia. We will travel into the future of agriculture, and the foods that define us as the most beloved region in the world will not be missing. Today, MAD takes us to the lands of Fasano, along with the GUSTI project.
I arrived in the city of Fasano. The earliest documents say that the city dates back to around the year 1000, when it was a small fiefdom. It belonged to the Place Faiano. Then over time the name changes because of the similarity. Faiano, Fasciano, Fasano, and so today we find ourselves with this name. It belonged to the Knights Hospitaller, who then became the Knights of Malta, so this was a place inhabited by the Knights of Malta, but today it is the very famous Fasano.
Let's go visit it.
Media set that is on air. I am in what was once the cloister of the Carmelite convent. Today, this cloister no longer exists. In fact, it is used by all the citizens of Fasano, and social life takes place here every evening and every day. It was the place where the market was held and thus was dedicated to food. It was indeed called Piazza Commestibili, and even today it is commestibile because there are many restaurants and bars. While most of the premises under the arcades have been assigned to restaurants and bars, there is only one place that has been entrusted to the Society of Homeland History for Puglia, because there is something special inside. This is the map of the square, so it's completely enclosed. This was the cloister of the large monastery.
The fresco from the early 18th century depicting the expulsion of Adam and Eve from paradise. Look, there is the angel of the Lord who drives them away with the flaming sword.
But the unknown author of this fresco decides to depict Saint Elijah. But what does Saint Elijah have to do with Adam and Eve? Well, here we are inside a monastery, and consequently Saint Elijah, being the symbol of monasticism, the unknown author, the anonymous one, decides to depict him in the same fresco. this is umbraccio. Umbraccio means shady place. What we have in front of us is the ancient palace of the Knights of Malta, and this was their garden. Over time, it then transforms into a cluster of houses, so dense, so close to each other that even sunlight couldn't pass through, which is why it was called umbraccio. This is the most important square in the town, or rather, it used to be. This is Largo Seggio. This was the Palazzo del Balì, the center of power. This building here, on the other hand, was the seat of the University of Fasano, university understood as the concentration of municipal power, and over there, instead, we have the other power, which is the religious one. The facade is Renaissance, but it is a more subtle Renaissance, a somewhat hidden Renaissance. The rose window is very important. It is part of the rose windows of Puglia, the very important rose windows of Puglia that we are trying to bring to the attention of UNESCO.
Hello, Maria.
Welcome.
Thank you. When I hear great things about this house in Fasanese style, but I want to see it.
We are already at the entrance on the house in the Fasanese style. Today, the museum of the Fasanese house is a typical dwelling type of the city of Fasano. This is the kitchen area where people lived all day and shared daily activities. Yes, so small because it utilizes all the spaces. And on one side you can see the fireplace, fireplace typical of the culture. Below the fire was lit, the wood heated the water in the boiler. And with that water, naturally, all domestic activities were carried out, naturally washing clothes, but also cooking.
And that's everything. Then we also see some clothes here.
Just because being a museum, the environment has been equipped with all those elements that can tell about the customs and traditions, even the folklore. This is the Fasanese costume, the female costume.
It almost looks like a little quilt.
A small quilt.
Like the ones we use today for...
Yes, but it was used as a head covering or shawl. So when it was necessary to cover the head, they would take some edges and bring it over the head.
Beautiful. And then again, oh well.
Yes, this is the alcove. Let's imagine a typical family with a dad, mom, and children. The parents slept here. This was the alcove.
But is the bed so small?
Arcuna, as they say in Fasanese, arcuna.
Arcuna.
Arcuna also because it is seen under the arch. And yes, the dimensions are smaller compared to our beds. Thanks to an association, the UNBRAC Association, we can not only admire these objects, but also consider them works of art, because being a museum, they can convey culture and thus be useful.
And make sure it always stays alive.
Exactly, very well, yes.
And that we can all benefit from it and understand where we come from, where our history, our origin comes from. Let's go up.
Myra, as I was telling you, we are in the soprano. Actually, we are at Palazzo Pessola, where we can find the spaces that today have been given by the municipal administration to some associations.
And we see some clothes.
Yes, because here we are at the headquarters of the Associazione Giugno Fasanese, which is responsible for the now renowned historical parade of the Scamiciata. And these are the costumes worn by the participants, some of the costumes, because they are kept here all year to be displayed by the participants in the month of June, when it is remembered that in 1678, Fasano was saved by the protection of the Virgin, and the people of Fasano defeated the Turks. this great victory of the people of Fasano is commemorated with this beautiful and magnificent historical parade.
Project GUSTI, which means Unique and Sustainable Management of Integrated Tourism. It is the initiative of the Apulia region that we have decided to follow to discover all the destinations and experiences involved together with international tourism operators. How often do you bring tourists to this place?
Well, quite often, because it is a natural place of great interest.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place.
And it also includes, it allows for understanding the interaction between the hill and the coast. It is an integrated system that should be managed in an integrated manner. The groundwater from the hill flows down towards the sea, creating this wetland area, which is also very important for the migratory bird life that passes through these places twice a year.
Director, the climate is changing. How should we adapt to this change?
Well, we must understand that change has always been there. Today, perhaps this change is stronger than before, and so, how to say, we perceive it more concretely. However, we must learn to be resilient as nature is resilient. And how nature itself responds to change. So we should not have aggressive attitudes, but we must learn to coexist with those that can be diseases, environmental crisis situations, and we must learn to take care of our land, to take care of our environment. This is the solution that will lead us, that could lead us out of the problems we have at this moment in our region.
We have arrived at the dolmen.
The dolmen.
Now we'll show this. Here it is. Here is the dolmen.
And now, Philomena and Flo will tell us what this dolmen is, because not everyone knows what a dolmen is. We'll wait up there.
We are in front of the dolmen of Montalbano, and this is a monument that belongs to the megalithic civilization. Megalithic, the name itself tells us, from the Greek megalos, lithos, meaning large stones. As you can see, it is made up of 3 stones, 1 horizontal and 2 vertical, which are truly enormous. One wonders how they could have moved, right? Moved limestone blocks of this size and weight. There are various theories about its function. Some think it was an altar. Some think that instead they were tombs, and based on the remains that have been found, which belong to different historical periods, they were probably tombs that were reused over time. Here in Puglia, there are several of these monuments. We are in the territory of Fasano, so we are in northern Salento. We are here in the province of Brindisi. Moving to southern Salento, there is even the megalithic garden of Giordiniano, where there are many truly very interesting specimens.
What a poetic place, huh, Nick? It's no coincidence that Garrone chose this landscape for one of his most iconic films. Yes, there's the scene of Pinocchio heading towards the sea, but how beautiful it is.
Marvelous.
This is a part not yet anthropized, not completely anthropized like the whole area down towards the city, but it is enchanting, it is silence, a poetry. Then there, where the forest is, it used to be the cliff. That sea has receded, it has receded.
So was all of this the sea before?
You know, here there was the sea was up to the forest. In fact, there are fossil remains of shells there. That's how they understood that obviously the sea was down there. And listen to the silence, there's only the wind. Absolute beauty.
Magnificent.
Absolute beauty. Wow, what a beautiful house.
Wow. Okay, I think these date back to the 1600s, just like this house.
The structure, yes, the structure is from the 17th century. So the main part, this one here, main part, because downstairs the farmers lived.
And here were the lords. And look here at what... Wow, wow. Indeed, indeed, we are in the heart of the villa, and there is also the private garden.
This is the main area, and downstairs there's the whole other part that concerns the farmers' residences.
Look, there's also a well here.
Come on, make it and I'll taste it.
Yes, huh? I always have to do the difficult things.
I observe. Come on, so good. Let's see, let's see.
It's very hot to start with. I do this, then this goes inside, and then I pull it.
House wanted! Yee! Well done!
This is for you.
Thank you.
Applause!
But it's very hot. How do you manage all day with your hands?
Who wants to do it? Who wants to make it?
Next one, please.
Come on, come on, come on. Next one, next one.
And after the cheesemaker's experience, the buffet opens.
How much do we enjoy doing these things?
We like it a lot, but I see that they like it too.
They like it too. In fact, this project was created precisely to enhance the intangible heritage of the entire Adriatic. What better way? And what better way to approach food in this way by looking where this food is born, grows,
and then it ends up on our plates.
and it is treated very well, by the way, by our operators. And today we are indeed in the company of international operators who come to taste Puglia, come to taste this strip.
Wonderful between the sea and the hills of Fasano. So enjoy your meal.
And us among them, because it never hurts, right?
It doesn't hurt at all. Enjoy your meal.
Enjoy your meal.
look at how great, what a magnificent monument this is. You can even go inside, look.
I'll go in right away, actually. Look, I want to stay here a bit with him to meditate, Nick. If you want, you can leave me here. Yes. Nick, where are you taking me? I think the group went that way.
No, come. So here we are going back in history. So we are going into a piece of industrial archaeology from almost 1,000 years ago, Hypodium oil mill. See, this wasn't a cave. Actually, there was a cave at the beginning. Then from there they started digging, and they recovered this space that wasn't an oil mill. It wasn't an oil mill, as you can see now, and then it became an oil mill. Before, it was used for any type of processing, okay? Then you should know that this area here in the 1300s was the peak of agricultural production, but just imagine the strength needed to move these enormous stones. And this was not done by men, this was done by animals. In fact, it was placed here. It's not that the animals were so small, it's that the floor was raised because over the years this oil mill has become a museum, and consequently to give the impression of what it was before, it has been somewhat altered in some way.
Beautiful. But just imagine the taste the oil produced here with these stones must have had.
I have to contradict you, the taste was terrible because they didn't produce edible oil, but lamp oil. If you imagine...
Lampante.
Because...
Why the lamps? You see?
Because at the time, fuel was needed to light lamps for public lighting or even in homes. So that oil was produced. That oil is still produced in Puglia, but in very small quantities, but the marvel of the oil we taste today, and thus this excellence famous all over the world, is something absolutely recent. So a long time ago, the oil wasn't as good, no matter what is said.
Sure, but let's talk about our oil of today. Are we going to do this tasting or not?
I hear voices down there. Our group is waiting for us for the oil tasting. So let's go.
Zareya, so the color of the oil is not essential in recognizing a quality oil. But what are the three fundamental elements?
So yes, let's start by saying that the oil, it is an extract of a fruit, which is the olive, so it should carry with it the best characteristics of the same olive. Naturally, depending on the variety, these characteristics, the aromas, the flavors change. Mainly, as consumers, we could focus first on a fresh aroma, that is...
Okay, so fresh scent.
Fresh, herbaceous in taste, especially some notes of bitterness that can be more or less intense, and the spiciness, a slight tingling that can be more or less intense depending on the variety. And we can conclude with an aspect of fresh fruitiness, indeed, that can linger in our nose and mouth after tasting.
I thank you, and I'll try to do the tasting I saw a little while ago, but let's do it with the cameras off, I'd say.
Thank you.
Mad continues.
A completely different cultivation from what we are used to. In fact, this is a hydroponic greenhouse, but Oh, what is hydroponics? Let's ask the person who created it. Hi, Enzo.
Good morning.
What is a hydroponic greenhouse?
Hydroponics is growing vegetables out of the soil, and both
So how does the plant grow if it doesn't have soil?
because the plant is nourished only by water and mineral salts.
So through these corridors, water passes with the plant's nutrients inside.
No, the water. The water is given by...
Oh, there's no water.
The water is given from those black points with a white tube. It gets the water. We give it to them even 20 to 25 times a day. We give a bit of water every time it's needed. The corridor that you see, which would be a small channel, it is practically the excess water left by the roots, which is then taken down to another tank and recovered and put back into the circuit.
How many years have you had this brand new technology?
We started this work already in the early 1990s. This instead, it is one of the most modern greenhouses we have built in recent years because it is completely made of glass, and it is a greenhouse that does all 4 seasons. Whatever we want, we do in this greenhouse. And you say...
So inside this place, we recreate all the seasons we want.
Exactly.
So what I see today, with these lights, today it's raining. These lights are the sun.
Exactly, because today, which is a day when the plant should be dormant, we keep it active because even if there is no sun, we have created it with lights.
Listen, but what is the difference between a tomato grown in the soil, like the traditional method, let's say, and a tomato that is grown in this way?
The differences are most so, let's say, simply important because cultivated in this way, we save a lot of water and a lot of soil. This is the important thing. But at the same time, having a greenhouse where we can control everything, we can completely avoid pesticides.
Okay, so since the tomato is completely protected and has the nutrients it needs, the water it needs, you don't need to water it in other ways or use something harmful for the plant and for humans.
Exactly.
This is very innovative.
It's innovative, let's say. I see it nowadays. I don't even see today's agriculture as tomorrow's agriculture because we need to think about saving water, saving energy, and also saving soil because if the world's population increases, I believe the earth becomes less and less
Smaller.
or smaller. So we did this new way of farming that is growing a lot even in Italy, especially among many young people.
Hi, Enzo. Mad continues.
Nick, what are we doing here in this wonderful place?
General markets of Fassano, all the fruit, vegetable, all the produce arrive here to then be sold to retailers, and then you will find them at your market. This is the general market.
How much are the turnips? Excuse me.
€1.
€1. How much for the turnip top?
The price, €1.
€1.
These at 70.
At 70 we close, go.
Oh, at 70, Nick. We did it.
Wait, but are we getting a crate?
Only one?
Guys, what do we do now? We are 2.
Okay, come on, then I'll offer one for you. Really?
Well done, that's fine. Thank you.
I'll take it from here. Go.
You take it from there. Let's go. Mission accomplished. Thank you.
Goodbye, until next time.
Hello, guys.
We grabbed a crate of turnips. We'll be eating turnips for I don't know how long.
I would say it went very well, Nick. Come on.
So, one thing I would like to find out is where all the vegetables from this place come from.
Let's find out together.
Let's go see. Matt continues. And now let's go discover one of the suppliers of this market.
Cosimo, but yours is a reality in the Apulian fruit and vegetable world that is now a certainty because I believe it, because here we have fennel, celery, cauliflower, everything. But what is your secret? Could it perhaps be the sea area that surrounds you?
Certainly in this area there is particular microclimates, both due to the soil and the brackish water we use, let's say, all of this ensures that the products have a superior taste and authenticity.
And the freshness, what is your flagship product if there is one?
So we have celery, then fennel and chard, and turnip tops.
And turnip tops, indispensable.
Yes, they are.
So the products start from here, and where are they shipped? Do you have clients all over the world, or do you focus on the local market?
No, we have clients all over Europe. We start from the local market in Puglia, then move to central and northern Italy, and finally to Luxembourg, Germany, France, and the Netherlands.
And now we are ready to learn a little more about the wine of Puglia. But first, let's take a little tour of this very elegant accommodation, whose past is revealed in every detail.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Torre Coccaro. I am Paolo, the wine man. We have three types of Primitivo. Primitivo from Gioia del Colle, close to Bari. Primitivo from Salento in the south. And Primitivo da Manduria, molto famoso.
So there are 46 types of wine, but only 11 are native. I didn't know this.
No, me neither.
Very interesting, though.
Bombino Pampanuto. It's the name of the grape. Native grape you can try only in Puglia.
A beautiful sunny day to explain Ignazia, the ancient city of Ignazia, which extended over a very, very vast area. Ignazia, in truth, in the ancient Messapian language, means jaw, and it is the shape of the port, of the ancient port of Ignazia. And below here there are still the remains which give the name to the ancient city. The city that we will discover at this moment extends over this area, but everything is still to be discovered. At least 90% of the ancient city of Ignazia is still to be discovered, but we are going to see the excavations right now. Yes, the part that was at the foundations of the houses of the people who lived in the city. We have just passed a pre-Christian church base from the 6th century before Christ, and now the view will open up to the entire city. From this very privileged vantage point, we arrive exactly in the center of the city. This is the center of the city. Over there you can see a paved road. Well, that is the Via Traiana, which started from Rome, passed through Benevento, then became the Via Appia and Via Traiana, and that is exactly the Via Traiana. We are in a very important archaeological site, because this is a Romanesque city, larger than all of Apulia. So consequently, there are remains that are very important for all of history, that the Via Traiana has recently been designated as a UNESCO protected site. We cannot enter for obvious reasons, but we will see it from very, very close. This is exactly the Via Traiana. Well, there were two roads, as we were saying. One was the Via Appia, the other the Via Traiana. But why was the Via Traiana built? Ormai was Via Appia that started from Rome and reached Brindisi. I was this Havorek, where there was the large port from which people embarked to go towards Jerusalem, but it was too long, so they decided to create a much more innovative road. And it is exactly this. Well, the Via Appia was covered with earth, with soil. The Via Traiana is much more innovative. It is covered with stones, but then it must also be said that this road passed through the coastal area, and therefore it was much easier to trade from this side here. In fact, on this side, exactly on my right side of this road, the first shops are born, commerce is encouraged, it becomes a very, very lively street. Exactly behind what were the shops of the Via Traiana, we find the basilica, which is not the religious basilica, but the civil basilica. It included this area here. On the other side, there was a small temple, but since Roman urban planning requires that in front of the basilica there is then the forum, it means that in the field, exactly on the other side, there should be the forum. So it means that most of the archaeological area has not yet been excavated, so we are awaiting the excavations as soon as possible.
Here we are in one of the most evocative areas of the museum when they say having a museum in situ, because this museum was built in the 1970s right on the western necropolis, and indeed a project variation was necessary to avoid damaging and to incorporate some structures like this one. And this is a very famous tomb, the tomb of the pomegranates. And here who can the clear separation between the modern building and the ancient rocky bank, with the marks of the Messapian stonemasons, with the original steps of the access dromos still perfectly preserved, with the doorposts, with the recesses for the cryptos that are extraordinarily still functioning after 2,500 years. In this environment, which still preserves the pictorial decoration very well, we can see the ceiling that has a type of decoration that reproduces the wooden entablature as if it were the roof of a house, so to speak, and then the decoration, which is what gives the tomb its name. Here you can see a pomegranate and a sari of decorated apples around on this band, therefore a fake marble band, a fake marble inlay, a decoration that gives the idea of an important covering, and that we can also see here, which is a portion that gives us the idea of how the entire tomb was richly decorated, and not only richly decorated but also full of objects. Because these tombs, which are family tombs, naturally for the aristocracy, saw various burials over time, somewhat like our funeral chapels. And so the deceased laid on beds clean, which could be made of stone or wood. In this case, they were made of wood and have not been preserved, and thus many accompanying objects that unfortunately have not been preserved in this case, because what you see here It is a hole made by tomb raiders who entered this tomb and plundered its contents. In fact, I will tell you more. This tomb was violated at 2 different times, once passing from there and the second time passing from here. This is another unmistakable trace of an illegal passage.
And after a fascinating history lesson, we return to the reason we are here, Apulian food.
Eating a panzerotto is quite a tricky job, okay? Now, I give you the panzerotto, but don't eat it. Don't eat it straight away. I have to show you how to do it, okay? What's inside the panzerotto? It's lava hot, okay? Lava hot. So what you do, you hold the panzerotto like this. A little further away from your chest. You lean over 30 degrees. Watch your shoes.
30 gradi. E mordi solo un po' in cima. Ok.
Let it exhale, okay? Check the temperature, okay? Is it good? Look what I do. I press it a little here and I put all the inside towards the top and then I can bite it.
In the evening, we move to another exceptional farmhouse. Cooking class this time. Orecchiette.
But our exploration of Puglia is not over yet, because not far from here there is a festival.
And this special episode of Mezzogiorno e Dintorni in collaboration with the Gusti Project ends here. We will see you next week, always on Telenorba.
This program is brought to you by Bonta.